Good evening, folks. If we could find our seats, we're going to start our program here in a couple minutes. We got some stragglers over there at the bar, so note to self over there. There's Tim Monet. Hello, sir. How are you? What else we got? No, yeah, we won't call him out there. And there are no assigned seats, so there are some seats over here if you're struggling to find a seat. Feel free. Tonight we have just over 150 in attendance, so it's good attendance, and we appreciate you being here. But everybody, welcome to it's hard to believe, it's the 100th anniversary banquet for Wooster Rotary. We are thrilled to be able to finally hold this event after a challenging 2020. And an event that was rescheduled, I think, about 3 or 4 times. Phil, was it 3 or 4 times we went back to the drawing board? So we're glad we're here today, and we thank you for being here. You know, tonight is a celebration of our club achieving a milestone as an accredited and recognized club for over 100 years. And while tonight's itinerary is outlined in your program this evening, and these programs are great, well done committee for putting these things together, which we will be hitting on just a small amount of the accomplishments of our club, and most of those are most recently. I personally wanted to share a photo with each of you tonight, and if that photo can come up there, Clint, there it is. This is the late Pete Bogner and Gordon Giffen at one of our past Veterans Day programs. It shows the subtle embrace of a friend, a fellow World War II veteran, and Wooster Rotarian. See, this is what Rotary means to me. While it's an organization that solves local and international problems, always willing to pitch in for the worthy cause, it also acts as a unity point for many of our current and past members. Looking at our roster over the last month as we put this program together has personally reconfirmed how proud I am of our club and our membership, and my membership in an organization that many of our community leaders throughout the year have belonged. So my fellow Rotarians, here tonight I hope that the program is a point of reflection on how the club has affected your life throughout the years of your membership, some of which you have been members for over 50 years. And then also just a reflection on what the club means to you as a person. At this time, I would love to call my good friend and our current president of Wooster Rotary, Terry Snoddy, to the podium for a couple words.
Well, it's great to see everybody here tonight. I want to welcome you all to this historic celebration of 100 years of Wooster Rotary. I know we have several special guests here tonight who will be introduced later in the program, but welcome, I appreciate you coming. As Justin said, this is an event that we thought we would do last year under his tenure as president, and we never quite got it done. So we're appreciative, although the pandemic is still with us, that we're very excited to finally have this event. And my sincere thanks go out to past president and past district governor Phil Mariola, and past President Justin Starlin, Secretary Lynn Mumal, in putting this event together tonight. So let's give them a round of applause. So tonight we're going to celebrate the impacts that Wooster and Rotary has had in our community, in our region, and literally around the world. While I know it's often said, I think it's worth repeating here tonight. The number one reason that this community has been so successful over the years is the collaborative nature of our local and county governments, our private businesses, our entrepreneurs, the Chamber of Commerce, the Wayne Economic Development Council, and the numerous nonprofits and service clubs that service this area. Wooster Rotary is proud to be part of this fabric of individuals and organizations that make Wooster and the surrounding area a vibrant community. It's altogether fitting that we take a step back this evening to celebrate the impacts that the Rotary Club of Wooster has had over the last 100 years. From our founding fathers in 1921 to honoring our long-term members to highlighting our key projects, tonight will be an informative stroll down memory lane. Lastly, any organization cannot have success without dedicated individuals who make things happen. You'll hear from many of these folks tonight. I want to thank all of our members for their service to our club and to the community. I am proud to have been associated with the club over the last 15 years, and it's clear to me that the Rotary motto, "A service above self," is alive and well in Wooster, Ohio. So please sit back and enjoy the program, and thank you all for coming to help us celebrate this important milestone for Wooster Rotary. Thank you.
Terry, well done, well done. We got a pretty special little vignette here. Ted Crawford, where's Ted Crawford? Right there he is. Ted has been a member of Wooster Rotary for over 50 years. So let's first off give him a round of applause there. And Ted has recently was awarded a plaque for him leading us in singing, which we're not going to sing tons tonight, don't worry. The songbooks are over there. Ray was trying to get those out, and I said, Ray, tonight's not the night, my man. But he's going to lead us in the Star Spangled Banner, which also features our Wooster Rotary community flag. And also, this was thrown at Ted about 6:45. So.
Good thing I showed up. I noticed my name's in the program.
So can everybody stand? We're going to sing the Star
Are
Spangled.
they playing it?
Yep.
Okay.
And they'll play it here for you.
And you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly at the twilight's stars and bright stars through the
Thank you, Ted. I knew that was going to be a tough one, man. It was a slow version, but we got through it. Ted, thank you so much. 50 plus years and awesome, man. So, Beth Weaver, I don't believe is here. Is Beth Weaver? So here's a real live service above self. Connie Higgins, how you doing, Beth? Yeah, there she is. See? So 6:57, Connie got the nod that she's going to be giving the invocation tonight. So Connie Higgins, please.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this celebration gathering tonight. We pray your blessing on each and every person here celebrating Wooster's Rotary Club 100th anniversary. Lord, I pray your blessing on this food that's been prepared for us. We pray your blessing on the hands that prepared it and serving it to us. Again, Lord, just be with us this evening. May you be honored and glorified. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Connie. And just a last couple of announcements for this evening. We want everybody to enjoy. Obviously, the crew here at Greystone will be bringing out food. They'll be served to you. We have 350 slides of different photos throughout the year. Hats off to Ray Lisey, Greg Barbu, Phil Mariola for getting those over. So just make sure you draw attention to the slides and see some of the faces that are still with us and those who have passed as we go through the evening. Also, Phil Mariola after dinner will come up here and kick the program off. So everybody, we hope you have a good night. Thank you for being here.
First of all, thank you for sharing this celebration with us tonight. Thank you for coming. 100 years is a long time. Well, Rotary started with 4 businessmen in Chicago in 1905. Rotary International now is an organization with 1.2 million members in more than 32,000 clubs all across the globe. We are organized into more than 500 districts. Typically, a district has 40 to 60 clubs. Our district, 6650, consists of an area from Worcester to the Pennsylvania line, just a little north and a little south, with 46 clubs, the 2 largest clusters being the Canton area and the Youngstown area. Tonight, we have the honor of hosting our district governor. Steve Wilder is his name, from the Rotary Club of North Canton. Steve was a police officer with the city of North Canton, and he worked his way up through the ranks and became chief of police. After retiring from law enforcement, Steve ran for elected office and is currently the mayor of North Canton. Governor Steve is here tonight with his wife, Mary. Mary, would you raise your hand? Okay. Governor Steve has a couple things he would like to present.
Yes, good evening, everyone. And I know, what was I thinking when I retired? I ran for mayor. My goodness. You know, there's a lot of love in here. And Phil, I want to thank you for teaming me with my longtime friend, Greg Long. If you know Greg, he has a lot of stories. And my ear is a little tired on the right side, especially going back to 1830 when your parents got here. But you know what? A 40-year Rotarian, and he's going to be president. So Terry, you know, good luck. All right. But it's only taken him 40 years to get to that spot. But you know, thank you for allowing me to come back and visit tonight. And it's my honor and pleasure to be here. I went back, and you have a great legacy history page from Ray. Ray, thank you very much for staying with that. And if you go back to your charter in 1921, you had 24 members. And let's see, the youngest was the youngest was 24 years old when they joined Rotary. The oldest was 62. And let's see, if you go back, some of those first Rotarians were born in 1859, 1861, and all that. And if you think about those times when they were born and as life went on, not to pick on the wars, but you know, some of those men were born right at the time of the Civil War. Some of your Rotarians served in the Spanish-American War. And think about the depression that these men went before they went into making a club. So the average age was 44, and if you throw out the youngest at 24 and the oldest at 62, the average age was about 41. So when that club was formed in 1921. And when you think about the fabric of Worcester in the area here, it's right here in front of us. You've had some elegant words spoken about your club, all the advancement, all the achievements. And it's an honor for me to be a part of history, because we're living history for this Wooster Rotary Club. If you think real quick about the classifications, do you remember when you first joined some of us? We had to have a classification. And real quick, just indulge me, but here's your classifications. Oh, let's see. light and power, livestock, kitchen supplies, dry goods, lumber, editorial from the newspaper there, brush manufacturing, men's clothing, postmaster, superintendent of the schools, coal retailing. Figure that one out there, folks. Bank teller, bank cashier, savings and loan classifications, school superintendent, I said, shoe manufacturing, iron and steel, and when you think about it, I could go on and on. But it speaks about the history of your club, of how those men had vision back there, going through everything that they have gone through and forming this club. Again, congratulations on all your past governors, too. Amos Buckman, 1959-1960. Lowell Barnes, 1978-1979. Leonard E. Schnell, 1995-1996. And my good friend Phil Mariola, 2014-2015. It's my distinct pleasure. I have 2 certificates I'd like to pass on. Phil, will you accept these on behalf of the club? One thing about Rotary here in Worcester, you have always supported the International Fellowship of Scouting Rotarians. As for myself, I am one, and maybe some of the other members here. But I do have a Youth Service Award, Service Above Self, presented to the Worcester Rotary Club for service exemplary of Rotary International's commitment to youth throughout the world through cooperation between Rotary International and Scouting. So this one stays here. And not to be outdone by all the other dignitaries that are going to be here presenting awards. Again, 100 years of membership, the Rotary Club of Worcester, Ohio, USA, is recognized for its dedication to the object of Rotary and its commitment to the ideal of service above self. Chartered March 1, 1921, charter number 834, by myself, Rotary International District 6650 Governor Steve Wilder. So congratulations again. Thank you. Take care. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, District Governor Steve. Well, district leadership is very important, as is club leadership. We have been very fortunate in Worcester to have had strong and effective leadership throughout all these years. There is a full list of the past presidents in our program booklet. Many of our past presidents are in attendance tonight. At this time, would all past presidents of the Rotary Club of Worcester please stand? Thank you, presidents. We appreciate the leadership you have given us very much. Many club members have contributed to our event tonight, and you hate to single people out, but I'm going to. There are 2 in particular I want to acknowledge. One is our secretary, Lynn Mumaw. She does everything. Lynn, would you please stand? She is just everywhere. The other is our club historian, Ray Lisey. I hope you had time to go over and look at the memorabilia tables he set up this morning. Ray keeps 100 years of Worcester Rotary stuff of all kinds in his home and his garage. Ray, please stand for a second. Where are you, Ray? Today is Ray and Allison's wedding anniversary, and he's here tonight. Well, our club, Worcester Rotary, is a large club by Rotary standards. We're right now around 160 members. One of the challenges of a large club is that each year, between 2 and 5 members pass away, and we lose good friends and good Rotarians. We were trying to think of the best way to honor these members who have passed on over the last several years. We decided that in their honor, we would invite their spouses here tonight as honorary guests of Wooster Rotary. I'm pleased to say that many of them are here with us tonight. I'm going to read the names of the deceased Rotarians, followed by the names of their spouses. Ladies, as I call your names, please stand and give us a wave, and then you may be seated again. Let's please hold our applause until all the spouses have been introduced. We'll start tonight with Rotarian John Streeter. With us tonight is Mary Alice Streeter. Mary Alice, where are you? Could you please stand? Wait. Just hold your applause till the very end. Thank you. Frank Knorr. With us tonight is Jean Knorr. Jean, would you please stand? Over here. John Dumas. With us tonight is Virginia Dumas. Where are you, Ginny? Bill Corson. With us tonight is Brenda Corson. Thank you, Brenda. Bill Schultz. With us tonight is Sue Schultz. Thank you, Sue. Bill Alkire. With us tonight is Bill's wife, Susan English, back there. Roy Vile. With us tonight is Janet Vile. Bill Patterson. With us tonight is Lee Patterson. Thank you, Lee. How about a round of applause for these wonderful women? Ladies, thank you for coming tonight. I know for a fact that this wasn't easy for some of you. We miss your husbands very much, and we haven't forgotten them. And we haven't forgotten you. At this time, we will show a short video produced in our international headquarters in Evanston, Illinois, and featuring our Rotary International President, Shekhar Mehta from India. Clint?
Hello friends, I'm delighted to share in your celebrations today. Celebrating Rotary milestones like yours is a big deal. And my only disappointment is that I couldn't be with you in person to celebrate firsthand. To meet you, shake hands with you, have some coffee with you, and give you some warm hugs. For 116 years, Rotary has accomplished so much, and I'm delighted that you have been with us in this journey. As I have watched the many ways you and all within the family of Rotary have connected the world with your actions and your compassion, I've never been more proud to be a Rotarian. This year, we will continue to make history together as we note all the ways that we can serve to change lives. Service is the rent we pay for our time and space on this earth. And we will expand Rotary service as we grow more and do more. We will grow through each one, bring one. If every Rotary member could bring in just one member to Rotary, there is no limit on how much we can grow. We will also ensure diversity in our membership as we invite members into our clubs. Let us give special attention to attracting female members and younger members. I'm sure even as you bring these members into your fold, you will engage them, for we do not want to lose these members. Engagement and involvement will keep them in our wonderful clubs. Even as we grow more, we will do more by doing bigger, better and bolder projects. Projects that are sustainable and have long-lasting impact and are of scale. Let us focus on the 7 areas of focus with a special emphasis on empowering girls. Girls are 50% of our world. They deserve equal rights and equal opportunities. We not only need to create awareness for empowering girls, but also do meaningful projects to empower them so that young women can have improved opportunities worldwide. I also urge you to participate in Rotary Days of Service to showcase the good work that you do to the people in your community. Let us spread the good word of the great work of Rotary and of your club. Congratulations on your important milestone. Rashi and I wish you the very best as you serve to change lives.
Service is the rent we pay for our time and space on this earth. I thought that was pretty cool. At this time, our club treasurer and our president-elect, Greg Long, has some more introductions to make.
Thank you, Phil. We have some very special guests in attendance tonight, and this club could not have functioned and accomplished half of what it has done over the last 100 years without quality, great elected officials. And we have been very blessed in Wayne County to have worked with all levels of government, from national to county to city to state, and that is something that we're very proud of, because we can be great partners for them, and we need their cooperation to do these projects, which you will see coming up. So first up tonight is Christina Trumpauer, who is representing Congressman Anthony Gonzalez, who could not get out of Washington tonight. As you can imagine, there are some votes taking place. Christina?
Thank you, Greg, so much. And thank you for having me. The Congressman does send his best wishes. He apologizes that he could not make it this evening, but I'm going to keep this very short. What we wanted to say is the standard of service and dedication to community that the Rotary has set is applauded by our office, and we definitely celebrate 100 years with you. So congratulations, and thank you so much.
Next, we have State Representative Scott Wiggum.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you this evening. Thank you for allowing me to come up and say hello, and thank you for your service in our community. Our community is a better place because you are here and the service that you are giving to our neighbors. I just have with me a resolution from the Ohio House, which is a resolution is actually put into the record in Columbus. So you are known in Columbus, but it's signed by the Speaker of the House, myself, and our clerk. And there's one thing that I wanted to read off this resolution that I thought was pretty significant. Since its inception a century ago, the Wooster Rotary Club has enhanced the quality of life within our surrounding community, and its generous contributions have earned it the gratitude and respect of all of our citizens. It has that you have served, and we are certain that this fine endeavor and this dedication to service above self will continue with the tradition that you've had in the past, as it will go forward in the future. But with that, I wanted to make sure that I just said thank you to everyone here, and Greg, thank you for allowing me to have the opportunity. Congratulations.
Next, we have two of our county commissioners, Sue Smale and Becky Foster.
Good evening. Sue and I would like to congratulate everybody in Rotary, and also our condolences for our partner in crime, Ron, who couldn't be here tonight, who's also a Rotarian. So we have a proclamation that we'd like to give Rotary. I'm just going to read a couple things from it to touch on other aspects of what Rotary does. The Rotary Club of Wooster has welcomed over 110 Rotary Youth Exchange students from 31 countries and has sponsored many outbound students to 28 different countries, as well as having contributed to meaningful international projects in Kenya, India, and Honduras. So the Board of the Wayne County Commissioners would like to extend our congratulations and recognition to the Wooster Rotary Club for 100 years of service. Thank you.
And last but surely not least, one of my favorite elected officials, our mayor, Mr. Bob Brenneman. And I'm not going to say any jokes about him because he's a Kiwanian, but, you know.
I knew that was coming. Well, it is truly a pleasure to be here tonight with all of you. You are the fabric of our community, along with the other service groups in Worcester that really make things better for our whole society. So I'd like to share this proclamation that I put together here with the help of my valued assistant, Lynn DiPaolo. It's to Rotary, Worcester Rotary Proclamation, 100th anniversary of this club's founding in Worcester, Ohio. Whereas on behalf of the City of Worcester, I am honored to offer this proclamation to the Rotary Club of Worcester on the occasion of their 100th anniversary of Service Above Self. And whereas the Rotary Club of Worcester was chartered by Rotary International on March 1st, 1921, and has played a critical role in our community over this century. And whereas the Rotary Club of Worcester has and continues to donate the time and resources of their members to improve our community, as shown through their many projects, such as the Rotary Parade of Flags project, making our community look amazing and patriotic on many of our national holidays, with the added benefit of helping fund other community organizations that help with the flag distribution while generating funds for Rotary, which get invested back into our community. To me, this is the best service project ever. So congratulations on that. I wish I'd have thought of it for Kiwanis, but hey. The student exchange program with the other nations, welcoming over 100 exchange students from 31 countries and sending local students to 28 different countries throughout the world, and providing college scholarships to the local high school students. Working with the Wayne County Fair Board to install one of the largest flags in the state at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. Yeah, that's right. In recognition and memory of the September 11th, 20th anniversary, and in making our area and community unique. And I could go on about how important that is to be unique, but I won't at this point. Establishing the Al Van Wee Classic basketball tournament at the College of Worcester, providing essential food items to our local people-to-people food bank each year, and helping elementary school students throughout the area understand, learn, and enjoy the game of basketball. The donation of Rotary Pavilion and memorial tree groves at Worcester Oak Hill Park. And to you, for all of that, I add my applause to all of you. Thank you for doing that. It makes that park so much nicer. Encouraging the help and support of their members in projects such as the establishment of the Worcester Community Hospital District, the city's Christmas Run Pool, Ida Sioux School, and the growth of the Committee for Crippled Children and Adults, to name a few. And we hope and encourage the continuance of these types of community projects for the next 100 years. And whereas it gives me great pleasure and honor to celebrate this very special anniversary with all present, past, and future members of the Rotary Club of Wooster, Ohio. Now, therefore, I, Robert F. Brenneman, Mayor of the City of Wooster, do hereby offer this proclamation of celebration to the Rotary Club of Wooster on their 100th anniversary. And I encourage all citizens to join me in wishing them continued success in the next 100 years in service to our citizens and community. Congratulations and highest regards to the Wooster Rotary Club. Thank you.
We did get, Christina Rogner, our state senator, could not be here, but she did send a proclamation, and all of these will go into Ray Lizey's hands right after the meeting, so we have them for the 125th, okay? Which we hope we'll all be there for. But I'm somebody that believes that we couldn't have done half of what we've done without these great people here. And I think all of our elected officials deserve a hand from us because they have really helped us do everything. On that, very good.
Many years ago, it was a typical meeting agenda item to have the news reported. So tonight I'm going to highlight some things about our club, and it's in the form of news flashes. First of all, I want to talk about Paul Harris Fellows. To help support the Rotary International Foundation, the Paul Harris Fellow recognition is given to acknowledge every gift of $1,000. The recognition may be given to a Rotarian or, at a Rotarian's request, to someone else in the community worthy of recognition. Worcester Rotary is a leader in our district in providing these gifts. I would like everyone here who is a Paul Harris Fellow, whether by your own donation or by being named, to stand, please. And thank you. If you've given more than $1,000, please jump up and down. Oh, well, never mind. So, newsflash. United Dateline, March 30th, 1987. The U.S. Supreme Court today rules that women must be allowed to join Rotary. No surprise, not every Rotarian is pleased. Several members quietly quit the club. One member, however, makes a point of telling me that he is leaving. At the next meeting, he's there again wearing his badge. Harry, I say, I thought you quit. He looks down at his shoes. My wife wouldn't let me, he says. Dateline, Rotary 1997 International Convention, Glasgow, Scotland. Peggy Schmitz, after being elected as our first woman president, attends. Where are you, Peggy? She attends the International Convention and visits a local Rotary meeting in Glasgow. The younger members of the club lead their fellow Scots to believe that Peggy's husband, Mike, is our new club president. The castles of Scotland quake when Peggy stands up to be recognized. Newsflash, Dateline Rotary International Convention 1987. 20 club members and their wives attend the convention in Munich, Germany. As we tour the German countryside, renowned World War II B-24 pilot Pete Bogner periodically remarks, "I bombed that." At Cologne, Pete points out that his crew had dropped leaflets in the town asking the residents to sandbag their famous cathedral, which adjoined an extensive network of rail yards. In successive bombing raids, the rail yards were destroyed.
Inevitably, the cathedral suffered minor damage, but still stands today. Newsflash, Dateline Rotary International Convention 1987. Rotary International announces a plan to eradicate polio and 5 other childhood diseases worldwide. Each club is assigned a contribution level to support the campaign. RI sets our goal at 18,000, but we ignore that and set our target at 60,000. George Cooper leads the campaign and raises 108,000. "70 new Paul Harris Fellows are created within our club. Because we produced more Paul Harris Fellows than the larger Canton Club, they accuse us of cheating." In recognition of the accomplishment, Tony Biggio presents George with a letter from Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, renowned evangelists, asking him to join their congregation as a fundraiser. It should be noted that the Polio Plus campaign was successful largely due to the efforts of women who organized their rural villages worldwide to vaccinate their children. In areas not served by paved roads, the vaccines were often delivered to those remote locations in Rubbermaid coolers on motorbikes. There was no dissent in those villages over the importance or effectiveness of vaccination. I know you're going to hear more about the auction in a video in a minute, but I want to give you some news flashes from the auction, dateline circa 1985 through 1990. Past President Tony Biggio, chief auction enforcer and bird dogger, establishes the Tony Awards to recognize selected Rotarians for mistakes, general incompetence, or demonstrated laziness during the club's annual auction fundraiser. During a late-night work party to set up an auction, Ted Bogner and his crew organized an exhibit of Wooster Oddfellows Lodge regalia. It was to be auctioned the next day. Around midnight, Ted appears dressed as Moses. While holding the stone tablets, he takes credit for negotiating the commandments down to 10. A Rotarian borrows a panel truck from another Rotarian, Jim Myers, owner of Worcester Office Equipment, in order to make a furniture pickup. After receiving a distress call, Jim finds his panel truck jammed into the roof of a stone railroad bridge. This is a little personal. Ron Holtman and another unnamed Rotarian received the Tony Dipstick Award for improperly moving an antique barber chair, thereby coating the OARDC entryway in hydraulic oil. Auctioneer and past president Dave Gallipou, raise your hand, Dave, begins selling a Chinese vase which he touts as a product of the Ming Dynasty. He tells the crowd it's worth at least $4,000. The vase is hurriedly passed to stage manager Ed Eberhardt, who drops it. Unfazed, Gallipou proceeds to auction the pieces to the startled crowd. After completing the sale at $5, Gallipou reveals that the vase was a cheap fake. This is the best one. While auctioning a full-length fur coat modeled by a young Rotarian wife, the usually loquacious Gallipou is startled into silence when the model turns her back to the audience, opens the coat, and flashes him. Remember that, Lou? That's it for the news. Now we're going to watch some videos.
The first time that a Rotary Park ever came into my vision was in the 90s. I used to travel through Minerva a lot, and I'd go right past the Minerva Rotary Club Park. And I'd always say, every time I went by, I wish we need a park in Worcester, the Worcester Rotary Park. And so that went on until the early 2000s. And at that time, I had heard that the Noble Foundation had some land and they were thinking about building or donating the land and making a new park up off of Oak Hill. I got with Bob Gorman, who was the president in 2004, and said, Bob, here's what's going on. We need to go out and see Dave Noble and talk to him about it. We knew at that time it wasn't going to be the Rotary Park, but why not? What's the next best thing? Well, there's going to be a big facility on there. Why not build that? Why not make that the Rotary Pavilion? And that's kind of how it evolved then from then on. We needed a marquee somewhere in this town that had the big rotary wheel on it. And this was, to me, the project. You know, you can't wait forever. We don't know we did so many great projects, but you don't see a big rotary wheel on them anywhere. So I wanted this one to be very visible. And so that's why this one came along. It was within our budget. We had the ability to do it, and everybody agreed it was a great project. Plus, we helped the Noble Foundation, and we helped the city. Well, service above self is everything. I mean, that's what we stand for. And everything we do is to service Wooster, Ohio. And whether it be small things or big things, these are projects and scholarships and everything we do. We spend about $60,000 a year out of the Rotary Foundation just for projects for Wooster, Ohio. And those fund all kinds of projects, the Wooster Speech and Debate, the scholarships, we do youth exchange students. I mean, it's all that money is spent right here in Wooster to service people and organizations here. So to me, it's everything. And the pavilion are the once every 50-year projects. You know what I mean? They aren't the things that come along every year. But we have our $60,000 worth that we put back every single year into this community for the good of the community. And that is service above self.
The flag project started in 2009, and it was a result of Bobby Douglas attending the international conference, and she ran into an Alliance Rotarian and learned about the program. The first holiday, we had 300 flags, which was outstanding for us. And then from there, by the end of that first year, we were at 800, and we grew to 1,200 the second year. And it wasn't very long, we were at 1,800, 2,000 flags, and that's where we hovered around right now. We also have a program where the nonprofits, the government buildings, and the schools, we provide them flags. They don't pay anything to us. We provide them flags, and they place the flags. And so there's a lot more coverage in town. Well, it was very evident, especially after the first holiday, it's a very labor-intensive program because you have to install the pipes and then install the flags every holiday. So we collaborated with the Boy Scouts. There are a lot of community groups. They're the Boy Scouts, nonprofits, school organizations. They all help us put out the flags, and for that, in return, they get a certain percentage of the subscription price. This project is so important, not just to Rotary, but I think to the community. The notes we get from, especially Gold Star families, are just so heartwarming because they really feel the warmth of seeing those flags go up and knowing their family is being recognized for their service. The program is not just in Wooster. We also have the Smithville area involved, and that was thanks to Lynn Mumma, who lives there, and we are very happy to have that area.
Today, the flag program has really taken off, and especially this year because of kind of a sister program with the community flag down at the fairgrounds. So seeing that enormous flag go up was a real benefit to our flag program. And we feel like the flag program the sky's the limit in terms of how we can give back to the community. And how many subscribers we hope to have. It would be great to see every house, every business around town fly a flag on each of the holidays. I think the power of the flag program is all about the connections. It makes so many connections, both locally in the community and out across the world. It does that because it calls in partner organizations like 4-H clubs, athletic teams, local bands, and even other civic organizations like the Western Noon Lions Club and the Freemasons to help with the distribution of the flags. And then they in turn earn money that they put back into their programming. Hundreds of Rotarians are involved with volunteering with everything from placing the flags, organizing the flag routes, coordinating with those partner organizations, troubleshooting, and then of course promoting the flag program. And then of course there are the hundreds and thousands of veterans that we touch every time the flags go up, and people who are currently serving the country. Every flag is in honor of them. Yeah, so we have a program through the Wayne County Public Library Wooster branch where you can place a flag in honor of a family member or a friend. And so if you don't have a spot at your house, or if you're not within our Wooster and Smithville zone, you can actually do a subscription and it will be placed at the library. And if you've seen the library when the flags are flying, there are hundreds of flags and it's quite a sight to see.
Rotary's been involved with the Wayne County Committee for Crippled Children and Adults almost since the time that Rotary started. About 100 years ago, a member of the Rotary Club in Lorain, Ohio, encouraged all Rotary clubs to take up crippled children, people affected by polio, as one of their primary projects. When the Rotary clubs in Wayne County came together to form the Wayne County Committee for Crippled Children and Adults, each Rotary club agreed that several of its members would serve on a board of trustees that was part of that organization and group, and our Rotary club has continued doing that for about 70 years. That in 1949, the informal Wayne County Committee for Crippled Children and Adults that had the representation from the different Rotary clubs incorporated on its own and began to concentrate on meeting needs for Wayne County citizens. The primary needs that the group focused on were equipment for people with polio. So it was primarily wheelchairs, braces, and things that helped individuals and families, because in those days there was not insurance to purchase a lot of those items for people who were impacted. In the 60s, when polio became less of an issue in our community because of the development of the polio vaccines, the emphasis of the committee expanded to include anyone with a disabling condition that affected their mobility or their ability to get around and be successful in the community. In the 90s, the committee began to realize that many people couldn't afford their medications, so the emphasis on the committee expanded to include helping people with medications. Now, in the 2000s, with the expansion of health insurance, we're now again focusing more primarily on our original mission, providing equipment and supplies to people who are unable to meet their needs on their own. We also provide adaptive sports equipment for young people who want to participate in athletic activities. We provide scholarships to youth with disabling conditions that might impact their ability to be successful in college. But we still go back to that original mission of providing wheelchairs, lift chairs, ramps, supports, braces, and things for individuals with disabling physical conditions. Helping to meet the needs of disadvantaged people in our community is part of the Rotary Service Above Self mission and has been since the beginning of Rotary, and in our case, since the beginning of our club. Rotary maintains its involvement in the Wayne County Committee in two primary ways. Each year, a number of Rotarians are appointed to the board of the Wayne County Committee and operate as board members, attending monthly meetings, reviewing requests for support, approving requests for support, and making sure that the funds are spent in a way that's beneficial to our community. And a significant part of those funds are Rotary funds. Rotary has continued to support the committee financially since its inception.
Yeah, the beginnings of the basketball tournament, the Al Van Wee Rotary Classic, were actually started at the College of Wooster. The decision was made to have a basketball tournament to kick off the season. One of the stipulations with Al himself is that he was honored to have his name go on the tournament, but he said at that time, he said, I'd like this to be more than a basketball tournament. I think there needs to be another component. So the decision was made to Al's suggestion to do a food collection. So back in the early days, probably 94, 95, 96, that was really the main part of the food collection, was bring food, get into the game free. Yeah, and then in subsequent years, the whole project started to take on a life of its own and grew and grew and grew, and we expanded the game donations to having donated items for a raffle, which brought in a lot of cash, which was also passed on to people. And then we went into the local elementary schools, and that really became the biggest part of the food collection. So we had nice Rotary member involvement from that aspect, both at the games collecting food, but then it really became a big project getting out to the elementary schools and making the food collections. One of the other really, I think, maybe the most fun component that we have of the whole weekend and the week of collection is what we call the youth basketball clinic. And what we do is try to line that up the Sunday prior to the tournament. And what that is we invite all the 3rd through 6th grade kids in the community, boys and girls, to come to the College of Wooster and have a fundamental skill clinic in basketball, which is conducted by the College of Wooster basketball players. And then in addition to that, at the same time, the youth coaches are invited to a session on coaching techniques with Coach Steve Moore. We really do have some numbers as well, so I think I'll take a look at this so I'm not making it up. But over the years, the number of kids who've attended over the years of the youth clinic is over 4,000. And again, that's 3rd through 6th grade boys and girls. They brought in 15,000 food items. That would be cans and boxes of food, and $2,500 in cash donations. And that was usually the coaches dropping $5 in the hat or whatever it was when they came. And we served over 500 youth coaches who had their session with Coach Steve Moore. So those are the results of the kids clinic. As far as at the games, as we collected the food, over these years, 63,000 food items brought into the games for free or reduced admission, and cash contributions of over $50,000 at the games, and that was through the raffle, and again, people dropping money into the hat as it was at the entrance there. And then as far as the club, we would also solicit the club each year with a letter and ask the club members to make a donation to be either benefactors or sponsors of the tournament with their names in the program, and that's produced over $175,000 over the life of the tournament. And then the big one, the school collection that we talked about with our people going out and working with the kids at the schools, that has brought in over 500,000, $500,000 food items to be dropped off at people to people. So those are the results, and those are some good numbers.
The club had the notion that with the blessing of auctioneers in the club, it could do something unique and potentially large enough to make a difference economically if it started this auction thing. And boy, did it take off. It just grew every year. And by the end of it, it was a regional happening. It was a thing. Every service club wants to have one or more projects where they can raise funds to be able to put those funds back into the community. They all know they want to work, they want to get their hands and feet dirty, but they also want to have money to be able to contribute to charitable projects locally and probably beyond. So Rotary was no different. And so what happened with the auction, I believe it was probably a vision. I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure, but I think it was a vision of we could have, instead of 5 or 6 projects, we could have one project that if it was really successful, it would be really big, and if it was really big, we could raise lots of money, and boy, what could we do for others with those kind of resources. In the auction's heyday, which we'd be talking about when the financial success and the attendance were at their zenith, we'd be talking about a project that had gross sales of over 330,000, I believe. And what really mattered was the revenue. We would earn a commission, so that was our gross top line. And we would earn revenues upwards of close to $40,000. So if you're making 330, or you're selling 330 and you're making 40, you're able to do rather a lot of things for the community. For Wooster, for this community, it was a community event. I mean, not everybody in this community, of course, is a Rotarian, but a lot of those non-Rotarians couldn't wait for the auction, and they would attend. And when we talk about the auctioneers, we were blessed to have Dave Gallipoo, Mike Warden, Roy Vile. These were guys that enabled us to pull off a project like this. They were invaluable. Could never, ever have done it without them. Part of the organization that was so fantastic, the way we broke down duties, was we had the Energy Utilization Corps, and these guys would move things. Ted Bogner was always a key leader there. These guys would break down things on the stage, repopulate the stage. They also had a group of people that would pick up auction items that needed to be picked up. And one of the items that was for sure an auction lore type of thing was the story about how there was a dresser set that needed to be picked up way outside town. So here's 4 grown men with work gloves on and a Wooster office equipment box truck with a big lift gate. You can just picture it rolling into a rural home situation, knocking at the door, and the elderly lady answers the door and they say, "Hey, we're with the Rotary Club. We're here to pick up the dresser set." She was delighted. She turned around and she came back to the front door and handed that group of men a mirrored tray with a comb and a brush on it. You should have seen their faces.
The purpose of the international exchange was to promote peace and understanding throughout the world. The idea was to allow students to come into another country to experience another culture, to see that perhaps there's other ways in the world of seeing how life is lived, how people behave. Certainly, it is a wonderful experience to have an exchange student in your home. The students are because they are handpicked, they typically are very eager to learn about another country. They're enthusiastic. My wife and I did host a number of students, and it's a delight. And those students are still in our lives to this day. Jessica Boykin is the granddaughter of a longtime Rotarian member, Harry Featherstone. I asked her to give us some comments about her exchange in 2004, and this is what she said. "Being an exchange student through Rotary expanded what I believed possible for me to do. I never thought I would be able to travel. Once I was in my host country, it brought me out of my shell. I now feel comfortable talking to anyone around the world, enjoying feeling like a fool while trying to learn a new language, which both enables me to connect to and learn different countries' perspectives. It was definitely more than I could have imagined. I started out in small-town Ohio, living with a single mother who passed. And now I have lived abroad for the greater part of a decade and visited over 20 countries. I am still loving life, just as I learned as an exchange student." Jessica currently lives in Hsinchu City, Taiwan, where she works as a software engineer. An incoming student gave me some information also. This is from Kaman Lapat Mongolkekpakdi, who was a 1996 incoming exchange student from Thailand. And she replied when I asked her to provide some information about her exchange. And I quote her, "I had the great experience to travel to another country and meet nice people improving my English, and developing my self-confidence. But most of all, I developed an understanding of different cultures, which changed my point of view to be more empathetic to others and want me to make a better world and one that is more peaceful. I still keep in touch with my Worcester host family and still remember those great memories when I was a Worcester exchange student. And I'm going to continue because she said some other things too. On the occasion of the 100-year Rotary anniversary, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Rotary Club of Worcester, the officers, the volunteer staff, for their dedicated efforts in offering a wonderful experience to the youth attending the program over the years. My sincere thanks also go to the parents who have been working in close partnership with the Rotary Club and giving their love and support to the exchanged youth. With its rich tradition and culture, I am confident the Rotary Club of Worcester will carry on the mission. On the happy 100th anniversary of the club, I wish all officers, staff, members continuing success in nurturing coming generations of exchange youth to help them realize their potential and become part of a powerful force in the promotion of tolerance, peace throughout the world. I don't know that I could say anything better than that. That's exactly what it's about, promoting peace, promoting understanding.
I think it was just a way of saying thank you to the senior citizens, as far as I can remember. I don't remember any purpose other than that. When I was president, I kind of got involved with the seniors because I visited so many nursing homes when I was a dentist, and I would notice people that didn't have anybody coming to visit them or talk to them. And that's, even as in my profession, I would go out to see somebody about a dental problem, and lots of times I found they just wanted to talk. I was really kind of involved with older people for a long time, and I don't know who thought this or started this. I can't remember that, but it was a thank you to the seniors. When it started, they would sign up at the community center, and they had to sign up. It was free of cost, but they had to sign their name and get a reservation, basically, because when the dinner was over, they opened it up to sign up for the following year, and within a couple hours it would be filled up with 400 signatures, and that was about the maximum we could handle. All the food was prepared when we were at the YMCA in the YMCA kitchen, and then it was transported to the high school. When we moved here to the Presbyterian Church, it's prepared here and still take it to the high school. Those of us that had station wagons or bigger vehicles, I had always had a pickup, we would haul it up to the school. Cooks would be there ready waiting for it and get it all ready to serve. And we had two big serving tables, and the Rotarians would be the waiters and waitresses and come by and take a plate and serve all the seniors at the tables. And we had a kind of competition between the tables, of course, to see who could get finished the fastest. And we tried to feed them in less than 20 minutes, 400 people plus the Rotarians.
I've always said to people that the term Rotary International, both of those words are important. It's not only a Rotary club, but it's an international organization. And for many years, long before my involvement, Wooster Rotary and Rotary International has been doing good works around the world. And I first got into a serious international project when my law partner Bob Gorman was president of the Wooster Rotary Club. We came up with the idea of an exchange program of sorts, taking some College of Worcester students and Wooster Rotary Club members to Kenya to see hands-on some international service work that was done there. One of the focuses of Rotary at that time and still today has been clean water projects around the world. We came up with a program of supporting clean water projects there, which took on a number of different forms, but we used some local funds. We were able to leverage some Rotary district and international funds for some dollars and took some students over for a good educational experience. So that's how we got started. Another notable international project would be our involvement and support of the redevelopment of a fishing village in the southeastern part of India. By way of background, longtime Wooster Rotarian Bala Venkatraman is from the southeastern part of India. A town used to be called Madras, now they call it Chennai. 10 or so years ago, there was a terrible tsunami that went across the entire Pacific and smashed into Thailand and Southeastern Asia and hit the east coast of India and literally wiped out a fishing village near Chennai, near Bala's hometown. And it was rebuilt in another location so that it would not be at risk for another tsunami perhaps in the future. But funds were raised and local people contributed substantially to that. Wooster Rotary contributed to that. And I was honored to actually be one of the speakers at the dedication of this town. And in recognition of the efforts of the folks of Wooster, Ohio, the residents of the town chose to name it Wooster Nagar. Nagar is N-A-G-A-R, which is a an Indian term for town or city or village. So in essence, it's Little Wooster. It's a village where they are expressing their gratitude permanently by naming their town after Wooster. Well, it's hard to say exactly what it means, but I think it means different things to different people. A lot of people think charitable dollars should only be given locally. A lot of people think they should only be given internationally. I've always kind of thought there's room on both ends of that spectrum for good works. And so for the international things that folks want to do, Rotary International is a great vehicle for that. I mean, there are literally Rotary clubs all over the world. There are doers and shakers, movers and shakers all over the world who are either members of Rotary or familiar with Rotary. And it's a real opportunity. It's a door opener wherever you go to be able to do this kind of good work. And so I think the influence of Rotary International through its local clubs and international organization is a real lever that the average good works project would have a hard time achieving.
Well, is Doug here? No? He's on fire there. Hey, folks, we will make sure that all of the videos are on YouTube, but this is a great snippet of what we've been able to accomplish as a club, and really in the last 25, 30 years, not the 100 of years that we've talked about tonight and are celebrating. There's a couple of things that we want to cover real quick before we leave. The 100th year, we had two significant projects that we're very proud about that we were able to undertake. And Peggy Schmitz and Ron Holtman headed up one of those projects. And Peggy's going to touch on what we were able to do last year, actually this year, at Oak Hill Park.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you, everyone. I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you to a couple of gentlemen who have been up here tonight and who have passed out lots of kudos, but they themselves deserve a lot of thanks for putting together not only a wonderful evening tonight, but a wonderful year of celebration for us. And those, of course, would be Justin and Phil Mariola, who co-chaired our 100th anniversary celebration. It was very important to our chairman that we have a significant community project to celebrate the 100th year. And I think we can check that box because we had not one but two. I've been asked to say a couple of words about the Oak Hill Park project. Originally, our plan was to plant 100 trees, one for every year that we've been in existence. We got off to a good start with that earlier this year when we were able to rescue 27 of the trees that we had participated in planting after the tornado that ran through Wooster in 2010. Many of you will remember that. And in 2011, the service clubs in Wooster joined forces to replant or reforest the Seacrest Arboretum. Some of those trees had to be thinned out, and OARDC at that time, as it was called, and I won't try to tell you what the initials are today, but they've changed, had contacted the city and asked about whether they would be able to use some of those trees. They were willing to give those trees to them for free if they could pay to have them moved. And so along came Wooster Rotary. We were looking for a place to plant 100 trees, and we spoke with the city and said, where would you like to have 100 trees? And they said, tell you what, we've got an idea for you. How would you like to work with the Seacrest Arboretum and to bring some of the trees over to Oak Hill Park? And we thought that was wonderful, since some of us Rotarians had actually participated in planting those trees. Rather than seeing them cut down, we were pleased to be able to rescue them. So, when you go to Oak Hill Park today, as you drive in and you glance to your right at the entrance to the park, you will see planted there 3 white oak trees, very significant for Oak Hill Park, I believe. And then as you continue around the path on the north side, look for the 24 trees which were planted in honor of our 24 founders. You'll also see signage there that commemorates and lists the name of those founders. So we are now undertaking phase 2, and I have another thank you to pass out, and that's to Ron Holtman, because he stepped up and took charge of the design of the next phase. That phase is going to include adding a variety of hardwoods and conifers along the north side of the trail. As many of you know, there's going to be residential development on that end of the park, and so this will help to screen that. There will be signage for each one of those trees, and there will be QR codes where you can use your smartphone and find out more interesting details about all the different species that are going to be planted there. We will also be developing a map so that when you're a visitor to the park, you can find a specific tree that you're looking for. We're also in the design phase of our Memorial Grove, which is going to be, if you will, a park within a park. We hope to plan, and I think maybe there are some pictures, of a beautiful, tranquil spot of rest, reflection, and an opportunity to enjoy the sights and the sounds and the smells of nature. A plaque in that area will also pay tribute to those members of our club who have been members of Wooster Rotary for 50 or more years. And believe it or not, there have been 37 of those over the past 100 years, and several more will be added within the next few years. We are in the phase right now of researching and applying for grants, and that will help to defray some of the cost of that project. And we also would like to invite you and others that you may know who have an interest in planting a tree in memory or in honor of someone, or perhaps sponsoring a bench for this special park area. I think I have overstayed my welcome and my allotted time, so thank you, Justin, for the opportunity.
And lastly, the other project we were able to undertake was the community flagpole project and flag down at the fairgrounds. Conceptual idea came to the board with myself and Greg Long leading that charge on the concept of putting up a flag that would further promote our parade of flags throughout the community. Proud to say that working with the fair board was interesting to say the least. And we were able to actually install the flagpole on September 2nd, a mere 3 days before the carnival rides rolled into the fair. The great thing about the dedication of the flag on Saturday, September the 11th, it was the 20th anniversary of the terrorist attack of 9/11. And for those who were present, it was a very moving ceremony. And I will tell you that it was the only time in my life that got up in the morning to watch the weather report and really looking at wind. We had no wind in the morning, and honestly, by the grace of God, about the time it went up, we've got a nice little breeze, and all weekend, that fair weekend, that flag was up and up. It was beautiful, and it'll be an iconic piece for our community for years to come. A couple people that have stood out that really put the time and effort in. Greg Long, thank you, buddy. You do a lot for our Patriot Committee, and you led the charge with myself on this, and hats off to you. Miss Sandra Hall, who has done quite a bit of work as far as fundraising. And this right here, this video, is one of the most moving moments that I've ever had at a Rotary meeting. This is where we stretched the 30-foot by 60-foot flag out, and we shook it as a membership. And the cool thing is, I don't know who started, but someone started singing the national anthem, and it was awesome. So, yeah, I don't know if you can hear that. But also, Chad Borman and Dallas Robinson, thank you so much for helping us to get that wall put together merely 8 hours before the fair opening. So we were able to pull it off, and that's what Rotarians do. And I think the one thing I did accomplish, and I probably spent the most out of any president in our 100+ years in 1 year. So it was 2 great projects, and we're glad to see that they were accomplished successfully. Ron?
Thank you for attending this evening. We dedicate this celebration to all of the Rotarians over the past 100 years who have made our club an integral part of our community. Thanks also, you've heard the names already, to all the Rotarians who contributed their time, energy, and resources to make this evening a success. One reminder, as you leave this evening, you will see at the doors wooden plaques with the Rotary the wheel and the 4-way test, which are made by the Village Network for us. Each of you are invited to take one of those with you. I'd like to close with a look into the future. One more news flash. Dateline, October 7th, 2031. The financial markets collapsed at noon today after a worldwide ransomware hack of the world's business and personal computers by an Eastern European cartel. The hack, in effect, supplanted the world's entire financial resources with Bitcoin. Earlier that morning, acting on a hunch, Tony Biggio, the last person in the developed world to be without a computer, withdrew his life savings from a local bank. After the crash, he used that cash to acquire controlling positions in every major sector of the stock market, becoming Worcester's first multi-billionaire. As a gift to himself, he bought an undated headstone inscribed with this epitaph: "I told you so." The meeting is adjourned. Good night and Godspeed.